patiently waiting for the stream of faith which brings life forever. The man of tomorrow. Who will be the man of tomorrow? Who will be the man of tomorrow?
Thought I'd go for the smallest, most simplest unit, and here it is. I just have to put the camera down while I take the lid off. Right, all I've done here, nutrients. Again, this is the same worm juice I'm calling it at the moment, in the bottom. And all there is a pipe inserted inside a pipe. So that thick tube, you can see a thinner tube in the top, which goes into a T. Clear a bit of that away so you can see it. It's a T-piece, and in the end of that T-piece I put a small piece of tubing. As you can see there, these bits of tubes, they're not fastened, they're just loose. So you get water coming from the tip, water coming from the end of the T, and the same on the other side from the end of the T, and then also coming out of the end of the pipe. What I've done is I've drilled a hole here and then pushed in a piece of thinner tubing. There's nothing on the end of it, but you don't push it all the way down. You want to push it, say it's about, oh, what would we say? It probably comes to about that far down the tube. If you put it like right at the end, the air will bubble out into your water. As you can see there, it's not doing. So what's happening is the air forces the water up the tube in little globs, as you can see, and then there it comes. So this is, I run this and the larger one. That's the larger version, exactly the same. It's a 20 litre container. Just move these. Ready to go in there. As you can see, this is exactly the same thing. The T, two pieces of pipe, and again a piece of tubing. All I've done with this one is this piece of tube I've drilled 3 very small holes straight through it. And now they don't do a great deal, but you don't need them to do a great deal. You just need them to do a little. And this is just filled with gravel, just normal everyday gravel you use for the topping of your pots. So I'm still testing that one, seems to be fine, it's been running for ages. And the little one here, like I say, this one's been on for a while, and you can see how small they are. And this system is now up and running and working fine. We've had this being tested the last few weeks. I need to get some more flexible cable. Some of this cable is very flexible, and some of this, piping isn't, so they keep popping up. So it's getting there, and that works just great. Simple pump we've put in, waterproof power socket, pump out, all the way up into the pipe, and then out through these rippers all the way along, and then we've put this in the end just to stop the balls going trapping. Just a piece of guttering, that's all it is, piece of guttering, couple of balls, cable size. Comes along these, an elbow and a T, connects them both together where it recycles back into this tank, which is also feeding these pots. This one now has been set back up. Now these are really good quality fish. They didn't cost me a lot more. I bought 10 for £10. So they were £1 each, and they're much larger. I can see it now. I can see it. The other fish we actually brought in were very poor quality. So yeah, be cautious. Be very cautious when you're buying in your fish, where you're getting them from. Healthy fish, obviously, they're going to stand a much better chance. I'm also feeding air now. I had this pump. Again, this was donated. It was a bit noisy for the gentleman who was using it for his aquarium in his home. So this is quite a powerful pump, a little mini compressor, which is driving the pots on the wall. Also now I'm putting some air in. And I've planted some plants in the water. I've done this in both. Just put a cage in there with some mud in the bottom. Just to make the environment a little bit better for the fish. So we have some new stars in our little mini production. I turn that off. Yeah. Stop seeing a little bit there. So yeah, last but not least, working fine. I've noticed that I have to watch the pressure for this, otherwise it keeps running down. I've got it on full, so I have to turn off some of the pressures, turn them down, and then this will start to run again. Otherwise, the first ones run water and the end one stops running. So I need to work out that a little bit better up there. The quality of the water gets poor, then the parasites and the fungus and the fish can't tend to fend them off. The water works a little bit like our immune system, I suppose. If we've got a really strong immune system, then we don't catch the viruses and so on. So I've been really focusing on keeping the water to a really high quality. Now, what we've done is, when I had the fish in this pool ran perfectly well for years. By adding a few extra small fish, I overstocked it. When I overstocked this dropped the water quality significantly within a few days, and made the fish open to contracting the viruses and the parasite. So you can see now we have a few fish in here, which is like me being used as a second quarantine at the moment, just to make sure nothing developing in these few little fish. And the rest of the larger fish, you can see one there, struggling a little bit. I think we're going to lose that one within the next day or two. So yeah, what I want to kind of mention, I really want to make it clear to people, when you stock an area, work out the area, the size you've got, the surface area. Now, once you've got that, so by taking the width and the length of it, it's a bit difficult to say on this one, you'll be able to calculate the amount of fish you should have. Now, this is the bit I think is really important. If you've got one 6-inch fish, it will use up more oxygen and create more ammonia than 6 1-inch fish. Okay? Now when you calculate it, add the length of all the fish together. So this container, I think, would take, I think it was 48 inches of fish, and when I calculate all this, I have about 45 inches, no, 60 inches, and this is about 45. So you don't count the tail, it's from the tip of the fish, and none of them are going to stay still, so I can use my finger to point to them. You calculate from the nose, or the mouth of the fish, down to the tail. But not the actual tail, you know, the beginning of the tail. So from the head back to where the tail begins. And then I'll add all the lengths up together, and that'll give you a total length of fish. So this could take, I think it's like 4 feet of fish. When you add all these fish together in here, we're not far off that. So what I'd actually done is, by adding a few extra fish to this one, I'd overstocked it, made the water quality go down, and then the parasites attack the fish.
Strike with knowledge, oh children. Within I know I rock is a solid foundation. Jah is our guide through creation. Have faith, bow patiently waiting for the stream of faith which brings life forever. The man of tomorrow.